Nautilus Prime is a Sentinel companion which is the prime version of Nautilus, and it is released along with its weapon Warframe Prime. Nautilus Prime comes with two precept mods, Auto Omni and Cordon. Auto Omni is only useful in the Railjack missions. Apart from that, we mostly use the Cordon. This mod makes the Nautilus so good that it can group enemies, which provides grouping as well as decent crowd control, and it has 15-second cooldown. Because of this, we don't have to use any grouping abilities in the Warframe. Now let's talk about how to get Nautilus and Nautilus Prime. Nautilus blueprint and components can be obtained from Point of Interest and Arva Vector Defense mission from Rotation B and C in the Neptune Proxima missions. Refer to this chart for the drop chance rate and other details. And the good news is, all the parts can be traded among the players. On the other hand, Nautilus Prime blueprint and parts can be obtained by opening the relics or trading it from other players. Now let's compare Nautilus and Nautilus Prime. As you can see, Nautilus Prime has higher shield and armor than the Nautilus. And at the same time, when you compare the normal Warglass and the Warglass Prime, the Warglass Prime has the best stats. So I would recommend you to get the Nautilus Prime instead of normal Nautilus. Now let's talk about the Nautilus Prime build. And when it comes to Sentinel build, the position of the mod slot is very important. Cordon. This mod is very important for grouping enemies and it provides little crowd control too. At the same time, it has 15 seconds cooldown. Manifold Bond. When you kill enemies with 3 or more status effect, then it reduces the companion ability cooldown by 3 seconds. And this cooldown reduction is applicable for Cordon too. Reinforced Bond. If the companion shield is more than 1200, then we get additional plus 60% fire rate for the weapons. Calculated Redirection for plus 250% shield capacity, and this makes Nautilus Prime shield capacity of 1225, which triggers the Reinforced Bond. Guardian to get instant replenish of shield to the Warframe when depleted. Assault Mode. Sentinel will attack the enemy visible in 30-meter radius. Regen to reduce Sentinel recovery time by 20 seconds. And it also gives 10 seconds of invulnerability once recovered. Vacuum to collect the dropped items automatically. Duplex Bond to get additional clones of the Sentinel, and we get 3 clones which last for 30 seconds. If the clones kill enemies, then there is a 50% chance to drop energy. Well, you can replace this mod if you don't want it, but it's good to have energy drops. Tenacious Bond. If the companion's critical chance is above 50%, then we get plus 1.2 final critical damage multiplier for your weapons, and this can be triggered by the Sentinel Weapon. So this is how the build will look like. Now before we talk about the weapon build, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome contents related to Warframe. Now let's talk about the weapon build. Use the World Clock to get critical chance above 50% to trigger the mod Tenacious Bond, and if you have a good critical chance Riven, then use the Warglass Prime. And if you don't use Tenacious Bond in Nautilus Prime, then use Warglass Prime as it deals more damage than the World Clock. Now let's talk about World Clock build. Critical delay for plus 200% critical chance to get the weapon critical chance above 50% to trigger the Tenacious Bond. Serration for plus 165% weapon damage. Thermite rounds for plus 60% heat damage and plus 60% status chance. But you can replace this mod with any other mod. The main purpose of using the World Clock is to trigger the Tenacious Bond. And this is how the build will look like. Now let's talk about Warglass Prime build. Serration for plus 165% weapon damage. thermite rounds and malignant force for plus 120% combined gas element damage and plus 120% status chance. Radiated reload for plus 60% radiation damage and plus 40% reload speed. Split chamber and vigilante armaments for plus 150% multi-shot. Vigilante fervor for plus 45% fire rate. Hammer shot for plus 60% critical damage and plus 80% status chance. This is how the build will look like. Warframes like Citrine, Kome, Lavos will have good synergy with the Sentinel, but you can use it with any Warframe if you use a primer weapon like Epitaph or Cedo and kill the enemies after priming them to get most out of the Sentinel. And this works perfectly with the melee influence weapon build with bunch of status effects. The aim is to kill enemies with 3 or more status effects to trigger the manifold bond. According to me, Nautilus Prime is really a good Sentinel in Steel Path and normal star chart, especially because of the grouping ability and crowd control. The grouping ability is little unpredictable, but it is still good, and it also helps me to focus on dealing more damage to the enemies without worrying about the grouping ability and the CC. Anyways, I hope the video was useful, and if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, enjoy the short gameplay video.